Assalamu alaikum rahmatullah. It's Amin here with Seera Masters, developing the Muslim mindset for success. And in this special video, in this different video, I'm going to show you, going to take you through this spreadsheet I've developed. Now, if you watch my videos regularly, you know Seera Masters, it's about a mindset. It's about having a growth mindset, always trying to improve, develop yourself, and kind of think outside the box. So that's kind of what I'm doing with this video. I thought every year in Ramadan, we want to give charity. I personally would like to give charity in Ramadan. And yet, when the last 10 days come, especially for example, I kind of scramble to find a charity that I want to give money to and I'm comfortable giving money to and that I trust. And I don't want to leave it down to just scrambling. I want to be ready. I want to be prepared. I want to be organized. And that's the Seera Masters way. Okay. So what I've done this year is I actually created a list. Yeah, and it kind of like this last year, but this year I'm putting it into a spreadsheet and I'm sharing it with you. So you will find the link to this spreadsheet down in the description, and you will also see me in this video go through the charities and just explain why I've put them on this list. This list, it gets the Seera Masters approval kind of rating certification, okay, and that's mostly because I know of these charities, I trust them, and I think they do good work and important work. It doesn't mean that there's probably another 50 or 100 charities out there that we could put here, but I just don't know of them. So I've just put what I know, what I can think of for now, and charities I generally like and trust. Okay, and I'll go through it and I'll try and explain why I trust them, so you can feel more, confident in it. Because of course, just because I trust it doesn't mean you will necessarily trust them as well. So let's start with the first one here. One Solid Ummah. Now you'll notice something in this list. Most of the charities are not like those kind of emergency relief charities providing food, shelter, education, stuff like that. I do have a few, but I think the reason I have that is because I guess I struggle to trust a lot of those charities, and because whenever I want to give to something like that, I just give it to One Solid Ummah. I saw them start. They started, I believe, 2011, 12-ish, when the war in Syria was really picking up. And I believe that this is a story, and I remember that it was started by one or two Kuwaiti men who worked in Kuwait. They had jobs and everything, and they used to fly to Syria or Turkey, go and help out, and then fly back like on the weekend or whatever, because they had jobs. Eventually, they got so committed they decided to go all in and to do this charity full time. And you'll see the guy in all the videos. That is the guy that started this charity. Just what is it now? 7 years ago, 6 years ago, and let me explain how they started. It was amazing, and this is what drew me to them. They started with a project to build a bakery so that Syrians could have food. They could have bread at least. At least have everything's gone. At least they have food. And they built this bakery. They got the machinery. They were buying flour and everything. And he used to upload the receipts and the invoices for everything that he paid for. He was so transparent, and they continued that until today. Everything they do also has an Islamic touch to it. The namings, they also built what they call an orphan village, where they have literally like a whole village, a whole compound of buildings. It only started with one. They raised enough money for that. They built the building, which is shelter for orphans and their mothers. And then they raised enough for another one and another one. Right now, I don't know how many they have now, but they've built so many of those. Now, within that compound, they've also built a school and a masjid. And every building has a name, and it's always named after a Sahabi or something like that. So I love that. And yeah, I just love this charity. I just trust them. They do cool things with the orphans that I see that they post online, like taking the kids to the beach for the day. These things I think are very special, and they just seem to really take it seriously and look after these orphans really well. And they do work beyond orphans, to be honest, beyond just helping orphans, but that's like what I've seen the most of. And so they're trying to give them a good education, including Islamic education in that, and making sure they're praying and getting as best an upbringing as they can. I think recently, over the last year or so, they've actually become part of, or they've partnered with a Turkish charity so that they could actually become an official charity. I think before that it was like they were just kind of in and out Syria, and it wasn't too official. But now they are they've linked up with a Turkish charity. So that is one solid ummah. As you can see, with every charity in this video, there is a link here. You just click that link. I've made it easy for you to donate. Frankly, because I want you to donate because I sent you there, so I can get the reward. Also, obviously, I'm giving you saving a lot of time here. Next is Salam. Now, I've called it Salam Dawah just so it's something you can like differentiate, but the official name I think is Salam. Salam, you might have seen on YouTube, Muhammad Hijab, Ali Dawah, you might have seen these guys, and they have some shuyukh, one or two that work with them as well. And basically, they've kind of teamed up to create some kind of movement, some kind of organization where they will produce a lot of videos. Muhammad Hijab, he goes and does debates. You might have seen those. Very good. He's active at Speaker's Corner as well. And they do podcast episodes. They interview people. They actually have released books recently. They're publishing books. So great stuff, great stuff. I personally, the main reason I'm on board with this is because of Muhammad Hijab. I think what he does is great. I think the way he delivers the message is just so good, so rational. So he's clued up as well. He's very smart. He knows what he's saying. And I like that. And I also like that he always injects Quran into his debates. And he has amazing recitation. Allah Barak as well. So I've got two links here for them. They've got the general donation link for their website, but they're doing a Launch Good campaign as well. Now, I would kind of push you towards donating from this link because I know Launch Good takes like 5% or something, although you can cover that amount yourself. Now let's move on to the third charity here, National Zakah Foundation. So I've written here, set up by Mercy Mission. Mercy Mission is they also set up Al Kawthar Institute, and it was set up, I believe, by Sheikh Tawfiq Chowdhury, okay, who, mashallah, very cool Sheikh, okay. Mercy Mission. So National Zakah Foundation focuses on collecting zakah and eradicating poverty in the UK. They may have spread now to like Australia or something, but I know of them from the UK, and they have this mission of there should be no poor people in the UK, Muslim or non-Muslim, just because Muslims are paying zakah in the UK. So they're encouraging people in the UK to pay zakah in the UK for people in the UK, for poor people in the UK. And what I've learned in fiqh is that is actually the way it should be done. So yes, so I think it's really good. It's a good place to give your zakah, but also they take sadaqah. They take general sadaqah, which they will use then to help with wages and rent and these other costs that they kind of avoid giving as zakah. They avoid spending as zakah, even though they are entitled to spend that. Okay, next we move on to Islamic Council of Europe. I've heard of this before, but only recently have I seen it popping up in videos and stuff like that. So Islamic Council of Europe, it's led by Sheikh Haytham al-Haddad. You'll know him. He's probably one of the most senior scholars in the UK, in Europe, and he's been on the ground just contributing to the ummah and the community in the UK for a long time. Also, he often goes to Norway and Holland and stuff to help out there. So, someone that I really trust, and he's someone, people view him as a kind of uncle, an uncle and a sheikh, at the same time. So what do they do? Unite the ummah by helping couples and business partners mend their relationships, thus creating the strong bonds needed for a strong ummah. This is the kind of thing that I would say this is like a Seera master style suggestion, because it's not emergency. It's not the kind of thing a lot of people are going to consider something, I really, really need to give money there. But I think this stuff is essential. It's absolutely essential. Every marriage saved is a huge victory as far as I'm concerned. Having the ummah, a strong ummah, is like a wall. Even Allah says in the Quran, Kal bunyan al-marsus, Surah As-Saf. So in order to have a strong wall, you need strong bricks, and I believe those strong bricks are families. We need very strong families, and if this organization is led by Sheikh Haytham al-Haddad, and if it is trying to mend relationships and families and keep them strong, then I'm all in. Okay, moving on to Ilm Feed. Ilm Feed, you'll know it, right? Media organization producing high quality content, especially on social media, showing the positive side of the Muslim experience. They've also got a podcast, and generally, I don't really encourage people to consume social media content. I think you should spend like maximum 20 minutes per day on all social media combined. Okay. However, if people are still spending time, I like that they see ilm feed stuff. I like it. I like it's positive. I like it's showing Muslims are actually doing good stuff. Uh, and it's alternative media. I think that's so important. Media is the new weapon. It's a huge weapon in 2019. So we should get behind it. We should make this ilm feed, we should make it huge. They should have 10, 20 employees working full time, pumping out content. They should be competing with the likes of, I don't know, BuzzFeed and Vox and these kind of places. And I believe, seeing the work that they're doing, I believe they can get there if they just have the funds. They've shown that they put the work in. Something I want to say as well about Muhammad Hijab, he's proven that without getting paid nothing, without making money, just doing it in his free time, he's willing to put in the work. Right? He's memorized, I don't know, the whole Quran or a lot of the Quran, and he's been able to debate with high level atheists and Christians and stuff, just because he wants to do it for the sake of Allah, without being paid full time. Like he's not. He made a sad video saying that he's got very little money in his bank account, and really there's no financial gain in da'wah. Well, he wasn't complaining about it. He was just saying that that's how it is and stuff. So we should give money to these people who have proven already to us that they're willing to put the work in without the money. Right? I don't believe in giving money to people who are like, if you give me money, I'll do it. No, I want them to say, look, I'm already doing it, but if you give me money, I'll do it more. Okay. Moving on to Islam 20LC, and it's another publication or media organization pushing forward the orthodox Islamic narrative. I've spelled narrative wrong there. Narrative in a way that is uplifting and unapologetically Muslim. Again, this is a project by MRDF, which is This is led by Sheikh Haytham al-Haddad. So it's like very unapologetic, it's very Islamic, and Sheikh Haytham al-Haddad is there, so that's cool as well. Moving on to IERA. IERA, the biggest name in dawah and the leaders in running an effective charity. Really, they are the leaders. They even train other charities in how to do certain admin things effectively. Very, very good. I love it. They now focus on helping new Muslims and empowering du'at all around the world to give better da'wah. So yeah, I like that. I like how they're empowering others rather than saying, no, we'll do all the da'wah. No, instead they are teaching others all around the world so they can spread their reach that way without spreading themselves thin. Now, Cage, you might have heard of them. I believe it was Muazzam Beg, who was in Guantanamo, innocent. He was innocent, but he was in Guantanamo. He started this charity, and it's helping the often neglected families who are negatively affected by the war on terror. Okay, so people have, court cases. Again, this is like stuff you might not feel immediate need to give money to, but they need the help. They need the help. Crisis aid. This is a new one. I'm kind of hesitant to put it here because I don't know too much about it. Somebody who I know is very strict with where they would give money was recommending them strongly. So that's why I've put them here. If you're looking for something similar to One Solid Ummah, someone who deals with these kind of emergency things like food, like education, like water, then crisis aid could be good. Have I spelled crisis aid wrong? Crisis. Maybe I spelled it wrong. Anyway, yeah, that's crisis aid. Again, this is the only one here that I'm not 100% behind because I don't know 100%. But I guess it's just from someone referring them to me. Ithara Relief. I remember when they started, I actually performed spoken word poetry at their launch. That was a long time ago. And the guy that started this charity, he is Somali, I believe, and he was extremely touching the way he was speaking about his cause, about the cause of helping poor people in East Africa, Somalia, Kenya, Uganda, Ethiopia, I believe, this kind of area. So I like them, and I like one thing about them especially is that you can give your zakat al-fitr with them, and they will distribute it as rice or as the Shari'i way to distribute it. Not all charities do that. Maybe there's a difference of opinion, but the opinion I was taught and that I follow is that zakat al-fitr must be given as food or beans, rice, this kind of thing, not cash or anything else like that. So Ithar Relief, good charity. Again, that's another one for the emergency kind of thing. Hadith Disciple, Hadith Disciple, Mufti Ibn Munir, Muhammad Ibn Munir, a teacher of many, African-American sheikh who is pioneering an open-minded, balanced, and completely orthodox Islam that grabs the attention of the youth and the respect of the elders. I like that. I wrote these, by the way, these descriptions. I think he's one of the few who is pushing fully orthodox Islam while being extremely open-minded, right? And being open-minded is not always good, by the way, but the way he's doing it is really good. And I would say more than open-minded, balanced. Balanced is the good thing. And he's like training people through his videos. Most of his impact is through YouTube, right? He's teaching you how to think, right? He's not just giving you rules and fatwa and lessons. He's really teaching people how to think. He's giving people paradigm shifts, and that's what I love. That's what I love. And he's got a Patreon. Of course, he did not set the Patreon up himself. He never asked for money. It's just the people around him. They set it up, and I'm sure I don't know if they give him cash or if they just use it to allow him to travel, to teach, or for equipment and stuff like that. Hugs. Hugs, I believe it stands for helping households under great stress. So it provides financial, emotional, and practical support and advice to Muslim households impacted by the counterterrorism, national security, and extremism related laws, policies, and procedures in the UK and abroad. So similar to Cage there, it's just, I remember this charity, I think it was Abu Isa who highlighted it a few years ago. And he just talked about, some people are in jail, even though they're innocent, and their family's suffering. And that's the kind of thing where the money you give to this charity will go to help people who have lost a breadwinner, and he was innocent. And so, it's very important to help these people. I believe this is a kind of charity, again, most people won't give to. And so I feel like people like us, people who are, inshallah, we're Seera masters, we're trying to master our Seera, we're trying to think outside the box. It's up to us to give to these kind of causes because the average person won't. So if you think outside the box, you should give to these kind of charities. So this is my list for now. Who knows? I might add to it. I might take away from it, although I can't think of what I would take away here. Yeah, maybe in the comments you should give your suggestions of charities you truly trust. I'm talking about truly trust. When you give them money, they're going to use it wisely, they're going to use it effectively, and their cause is good. And maybe their cause is something different, something outside of the box that is very needed. Something like Ilm Feed. Who would say, generally, who would think we should give money to a media organization or Ayera, Dawa? There are people dying, but the truth is, people's akhirah is at risk sometimes, which is the worst thing if your akhirah is at risk. And it's not about competing. It's about giving a certain percent to emergency stuff and certain percent to long-term stuff. That's what I believe. The proportion of that, I'll leave that up to you. But yeah, this has been Amin with Seera Masters. I think this has been a long video. I don't know how long it's been. Thanks for listening. I hope you go ahead and give, whether it's these charities or others. I hope, may Allah accept your donations. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.